Hey guys, Rhett here. Thanks for watching. I've been getting a question a lot, which has been, if you had to start over and build a 10 property Section 8 rental property portfolio as fast as you could, how would you do it in 2026? Knowing current market conditions of interest rates and debt, current Section 8 markets, current Section 8 demand, all the things that face new Section 8 investors today. If I had to turn the clock back and restart today, what would I do and how would I do it and how would I get to 10 properties as fast as I could? So if I had 0 properties, and if you're watching this right now and you have 0 properties, let this be the baseline for you to start building this portfolio. So for those of you who have been on the channel for a long time and have been watching me for years and years, thank you so much. You guys know we're bringing back the whiteboard. We're going old school to get into some of the basics here. So number one basic that we need to understand before we buy anything, we need to understand what our plan is. What is our plan? What do we want to spend? What's our budget for buying? What is our timeline for buying? Excuse the terribly messy handwriting, but we are just jotting stuff down here. I care a lot more about the knowledge here for you guys than making this thing look pretty. So budget, timeline, do we want to buy over the next 6 months? Do we want to buy over the next 12 months? How fast are we building this Section 8 portfolio? Now, in the case of this example, I'm needing to buy 10 units and build the portfolio, get it cash flowing as quickly as I can. So for me, it's going to be fast as possible. I need 10 units in this hypothetical. The other question is budget. What is the budget? And that's a question for you. What can I spend? How do I spend it? What am I going to do? So in my instance, if I was going to have to buy 10 units as fast as possible, I would use cash, because then I wouldn't have to go through lending. I wouldn't have to go through pre-approval processes. I wouldn't have to go through hard money lenders. In this instance, I want you to think about, how are we going to buy? How are we going to buy? What do we have available? How are we going to buy? Financing. Are we going to be buying with a DSCR loan? Are we going to be using a conventional loan? Are we going to be using our own cash? So how are we going to buy? Okay, how are we going to buy? So in this instance, I'm using cash. So I'm going to use cash. I'm going to be buying 10 units. The next thing I have to ask myself, I've never bought Section 8 rental properties before. Who am I going to do this with? Who's going to walk me through this? If I do this on my own, it's going to kill me. I'm going to spend a ton of money on mistakes. It's going to be a disaster. I'm going to learn as I go, and it's going to be extremely expensive. So I need to work with somebody. I need to work with somebody that I like, somebody that I think I can trust, somebody that I can grow a relationship with. Who is going to help me? Because the mentor that I choose is going to be able to say, hey, invest in this market, stay away from this market because of this. I have experience at doing it this way. Let's do it here. Once we have that squared away, we have to choose our market, okay? Market is a huge one. Now, when it comes to market is extremely important for a lot of reasons. We have to make sure that in the market we choose, there is inventory. So if I want to buy 10 units as quickly as possible, I can. Those markets are there. I can buy those units if I want to. If I buy 10 units and put 10 units on the rental market, am I going to be able to fill those units? Is there going to be demand for Section 8 in that market? That's another extremely important question. In that market, what am I going to face? Insurance-wise, what does the insurance look like in that market? Am I investing in Florida, where I am going to need crazy amounts of insurance because of hurricanes? Am I investing in Louisiana, where I'm probably going to need flood insurance? Am I going to be investing in California, where I might need wildfire insurance? What is that insurance going to be? What are the pros and cons of that market? So off of this market question, there's a lot of things that we have to consider. Insurance being one of them. But what about property taxes? Property taxes are extremely important. What do those taxes look like in that individual market? Is that market going to be a high tax area? Is it going to be a low tax area? All of these things are going to go against our bottom line. So this is important stuff. As we continue in this same market, what kind of landlord-tenant laws are we looking at? Are they in favor of the tenant, like California and like New York and like Massachusetts? Are they in favor of the landlord, like markets in the Southeast or markets in the Midwest? This is extremely important, okay? So taking that into consideration as well. Now, piggybacking off of those things, what is the climate like in the market that I want to invest in? Am I going to have to deal with blizzards? Am I going to have to deal with ice? Am I going to have to deal with frozen pipes? All of these things. These are major, major decisions, and these are all things that are going to point directly to the market that we have to invest in, because it's not only about buying Section 8 units. I could buy units in my backyard. I could buy 10 units here tomorrow. They might not be profitable. That's not where I want to buy. I have to make sure that the market that I buy in is the best market for me, the market that's going to create the most amount of cash flow, not today, not next week, not next month, but over the next 5 to 10 years. So once we choose that market, the next most important thing is, especially if I'm buying out of state, I'm not buying in my backyard, who the heck is going to do this stuff on the ground for me? So where is my team? Who is my team? What is a team? Do I have lenders that are going to make this work for me? Whether it's hard money, whether it's DSCR, are they familiar with houses that are at an under $100,000 purchase price that might need more renovations than the property cost, which if those of you who have started looking into Section 8 and want to do a large renovation or a larger construction or a BRRRR project, you might realize very quickly not a lot of lenders are going to let you buy a house for $50,000 and then put $60,000 in work into it. There has to be a percentage threshold. We work with lenders that don't care about that threshold, but you're going to have to find them if you don't have a team. Do I have reliable realtors telling me where to buy, what to buy, where not to buy, and what not to buy? Are we going to be working with where's my construction team? Where are my boots on the ground? Where are my home inspectors? Where are my construction scopes going to come from? When I see a house that's on market that I think is really good, who am I going to send to that house to do the walkthrough? When I do decide to buy a house, who's going to do the work? Where is my construction team? After the construction team's done, who's going to manage the property? Do I have really good property management in place? Do I have good real estate attorneys in place? Do I have good accountants in place? The team is the most important aspect of everything we do. And I tell people this all the time. Put me in a bad market that's not advantageous. Give me a good team, I'll make money. Put me in an unbelievably successful, rich market. Give me a bad team, I'll lose money. And that is going to ring true no matter what we do, no matter where we buy, no matter where we invest. You have to make sure that the team is good. If you don't have a team and you want to use me and my team, drop me an email below, reach out, and let's get this thing started together. Now, after we choose that team, okay, we have the team in place. We have the market. The team works in the market. I know who I'm using as a mentor. I know how to buy and what to buy and where to buy. I know in what way I'm going to be buying. I know what my budget is. I have a plan. I have to be buying as quickly as I can in this trial of building 10 units. Now, how the heck am I going to choose what to buy? There's so many different ways that we can buy units. We can buy turnkey units. We can buy units that are value add or distressed units. Right? Value add or distressed, meaning they need a lot of work. We can buy units that are already cash flowing, already Section 8 units, okay? There are so many ways that we can buy units. If I was buying units as fast as possible to build that 10-unit portfolio as quickly as I can, I would not care about any of these. If the best available units in the areas that I wanted, in areas that had really high Section 8 demand, in good areas, in appreciating areas, in markets that my team was able to onboard them and felt safe going to them and onboarded them successfully and knows that they're going to be good investments, I would not care about any of these. I would buy the best available units. Very, very similar to the NFL draft, if those of you watch any kind of sports. If you're looking for a quarterback, and a really, really good running back falls to you at your pick, you're gonna take them because they're the best player on the board. It's the same thing here. If I'm looking for turnkey, but a really, really good unit comes available with a really, really good return that already has a Section 8 tenant in it, I'm gonna buy it. Same thing, if I'm looking for value add BRRRR method properties that are distressed because I wanna add value, I wanna eliminate CapEx, I wanna put new plumbing and new electrical and a new roof on a house, but a really, really good turnkey unit that doesn't need a lot of work is in a good area, it's got a bunch of bedrooms, it's got a bunch of bathrooms, I know it's gonna cash flow strongly, I'm gonna buy it. So in this experiment, in this option where I'm building as fast as I can, I might buy the first 4 turnkeys that come online, I might buy the next 3 value adds that come online, I might buy 2 that are already rented by Section 8, and then I might say, okay, well, I need 1 more. I really want another one that's already Section 8 occupied, but then another value add comes, and I'm gonna buy another one for my 10th one, because those are the best options available. Now, if you're in a situation where you only have $20,000 to get started, you only have $25,000 to get started, and you're not gonna just be spending money like crazy buying the best available, I don't recommend that for you. If you want to grow a portfolio and you want to do it value add by using the BRRRR method, maybe you're using a HELOC, maybe you're using a hard money loan, then we need to focus on buying value add for the BRRRR method. Or you might have $20,000 and you only have enough money to put down a 20% down payment on a house that's $70,000 or $75,000. Then we're not going to buy something already Section 8 occupied because you're going to have to pay a premium for that. So we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at houses that are more turnkey, that don't need as much work, so you can buy something you can afford. So normally, I would rather focus in and not buy anything rather than buy the wrong deal. We need to be extremely focused. We need to buy the right deal, especially if it's your first one. You're building a proof of concept. You're building it for you. You're building it for future investors in your portfolio. We need to focus. We need to make sure what we buy is really good and really strong. If you're up against the clock and someone says, you got to build a portfolio as quickly as you can and you got to build it 10 units, this is how I would do it. Now, the only difference between me in this scenario and you in your scenario is there's no time crunch. So all of this rings true. What's our plan? What's our budget? What's our timeline? How are we going to buy? Are we using cash? Are we using a HELOC? Are we using hard money? Are we using DSCR? Are we using conventional loans? Help. I need a mentor. Who's going to help me through it? Who is going to help me through all these decisions? And that's okay too. You might not know the answers to these things, and that's fine. You can even take this line and put this up front because we can help you with the plan and the budget and the timeline and how to buy. And then that market. Understanding insurance, understanding property taxes, landlord-tenant laws, climate, okay? All of these things are extremely, extremely important to your asset that is made out of wood. You're buying something that's made of wood, climate affects it, okay? And then, of course, all of those other things. Now, the team, the most important piece to the whole puzzle. Do you have it? How many of them do you have? Are you building it yourself? Are you using somebody else's? Are they tried and true? Have they done thousands? What is their experience? Don't give me an Airbnb team to do Section 8. Don't give me a custom home building team to do Section 8 rental properties. Don't do it. It's got to be a specialist. So if you guys want to get started and you want to try this scenario of building a portfolio to 10 units as fast as you can, drop me a comment, reach out. My email is in the description below. I can't wait to get started with you, and we'll see you next time.